It was a quiet summer morning in Philadelphia, or at least it should have been. As the sun barely kissed the horizon, a routine armored truck stop at a Home Depot in Port Richmond turned into a nightmare. What happened next wasn't just a robbery, it was a carefully executed ambush that stole more than $1.5 million in cash and vanished into thin air, leaving the city stunned and the authorities scrambling for answers. How did two armed men pull off such a daring heist in broad daylight? And why does it feel like there's more to this story than meets the eye? But before we dive into this story, comment below where you are watching from today. And if you enjoy this story with unexpected twists and moments of intrigue, don't forget to subscribe. Now let's get back into it. Welcome to the Heist Files channel, where we uncover the most daring robberies and explore the minds behind them. Today we're diving deep into one of the boldest armored truck heists to ever take place in the heart of Philadelphia. On June 28, 2023, two armed criminals stole over $1.5 million from a Brinks truck in the Port Richmond area. But what started as a simple robbery quickly unraveled into a complex investigation that would challenge even the most seasoned detectives. Stick around as we break down the events, piece together the mystery, and dig into the unanswered questions that still remain. It was just before 8 a.m., a typical Tuesday morning for the Brinks driver who had made countless stops across the city. He pulled into the parking lot of a Home Depot in the 3700 block of East Thompson Street, following his usual routine. Little did he know, this seemingly ordinary stop would turn into one of the most daring heists in recent memory. But as the armored truck's wheels came to a halt, two men dressed in black and wearing ski masks appeared out of nowhere. They were armed and prepared for everything. In a matter of seconds, they ambushed the driver, disarmed him, and made off with more than $1.5 million in cash, along with the driver's firearm. Their getaway was swift, with a black Hyundai disappearing into the streets of Port Richmond. I hope you're following this intriguing story. Stay tuned as there is more to come as we unfold further. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. Let's get back cracking into this case. Now let's take a moment to break down exactly how these two robbers managed to pull off such an audacious crime. They weren't just lucky. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. Everything from the timing, the location, to the precise movements of the robbers suggests one thing: careful planning. For one, the two suspects knew the exact moment the Brinks truck would arrive. They knew the driver was alone, and they were well equipped with weapons and the necessary tools to quickly neutralize the situation. It wasn't a random act. This was a calculated move, executed with precision. But what were their motives? Was this their first heist, or was there something more behind the scenes? As soon as the robbers made off with the money, the authorities began their investigation. The FBI, along with local police, launched an immediate manhunt. Surveillance footage was reviewed, and the area was canvassed for clues. But the robbers had been careful. There were no immediate witnesses to their identities. The only lead, an ordinary black Hyundai seen fleeing the scene, was almost too vague to follow. Yet, as investigators dug deeper, they found something unexpected. Another robbery, nearly identical, had occurred just weeks before in Queens, New York. The same MO, a Brinks truck, two armed suspects, and a significant amount of stolen money. Was this part of a larger operation? A gang targeting armored trucks across the East Coast. The similarities were too striking to ignore, but was it a coincidence? Let me know your thoughts to these questions in the comments below as you ponder over them. Remember to subscribe to the channel for more stories of this nature, or suggest what kind of stories interests you, and we will dig them out for you. Now let's dive in much further into the story. Could this be the work of seasoned criminals? Was it a well-known gang or a more organized network? As investigators looked into the history of armored truck robberies, they found that such high-stakes crimes were rare, but they weren't impossible. The fact that the robbers knew exactly what they were doing, down to the getaway vehicle and the timing, suggests they had done this before, or at least had inside knowledge of how these operations worked. There's even talk among law enforcement that this could be part of a much larger plan, orchestrated by individuals with connections to more sophisticated criminal enterprises. But, with so few clues, the list of potential suspects was long. Could the robbers have been professionals? Or were they locals with no prior criminal records, pushed to commit the crime by desperation? The aftermath of the heist was felt across the city. For the residents of Port Richmond, a neighborhood that had always been quiet and peaceful, this was a wake-up call. How could something like this happen in broad daylight? People began to feel uneasy, asking themselves how something so audacious could unfold right under their noses. In interviews with locals, many expressed disbelief. "We've never had anything like this around here. It's just not something you expect in a neighborhood like this," one resident commented. Another more cautiously said, "You never know when something like this might happen again. The city doesn't feel as safe as it used to." Then, just when it seemed like the investigation might stall, a breakthrough came in the form of a strange tip. An anonymous informant came forward, claiming to have knowledge of the robber's identity. But when law enforcement tried to track down the lead, the informant disappeared, vanishing without a trace, as if they'd never existed. Was this a legitimate source? Or was it part of a game being played by the criminals themselves? Now things get more twisted. We hope you are following through. Remember to hit the subscribe button for more breathtaking stories like this. Keep watching as we reveal the shocker soon. As the investigation pressed on, more strange connections began to surface. One of the stolen vehicles, a black Hyundai, was discovered abandoned, an obvious sign that the robbers were meticulous in their planning, yet there was still so much left unanswered. Who were they really? Why was this heist so well executed? And where was the money now? It was clear this heist wasn't just a random act. It was part of something much larger, a puzzle that had yet to be solved. But here's the question that still lingers. Could these two men have vanished without a trace, or is there more to this story? Could the robbers be closer to home than anyone expected? The hunt continues, and the truth may be more shocking than we could have ever imagined. So, what do you think? Who were these criminals, and how did they pull off one of the most daring heists in Philadelphia's history? What do you think their next move will be? The case is far from closed, and with more questions than answers, we want to hear from you. Leave your theories and thoughts in the comments below. Could there be a twist waiting for us that no one saw coming?